Welcome to Fringe Fanatics with Chad Lee and Chris Zane.
And we are back for episode 77 of Fringe Fanatics Sports Podcast. I am Chris Zane.
And I am Chad Lee. Thanks for tuning in.
Yes, as always, we greatly appreciate each and every one of you that tunes in or spends any amount of your day with us each and every week. If you haven't yet, please go and like, share, subscribe, and follow us on all things social media, and make sure to hit that subscribe button on whatever you're watching or listening to us on. Make sure you get all those notifications, and make sure to rate us 5 stars and leave a comment or a rating for us as well. Chad, how have you been doing, man?
I've been doing good.
Yeah. It's been a rip-roaring week. There's a lot going on. You were gone. We're recording a day late.
Yeah. I was on vacation, so now I'm back. But
you're back.
Yeah, life has been good.
Indeed. Well, it is episode 77, and as we have been doing for many weeks now, we always feature some sort of amazing sportsman or sportswoman. They've mainly been men, unfortunately.
Yeah,
I just realized that.
Yeah, we got to get a number.
Yeah, we need to figure that out. We got to break that cycle.
Yeah.
But number 77 is Mr. Ray Bourque. If you would like to, you could call him Raymond Jean, but I don't know how much he'd like that.
Probably wouldn't. Might hit you.
Yeah, so he is a Canadian professional ice hockey player in the NHL, holds the records for the most career goals, assists, and points by a defenseman in the National Hockey League. He won the James Norris Memorial Trophy as the NHL's best defenseman 5 times, while finishing second for that trophy a further 6 times. He also twice finished second in the voting for the Hart Memorial Trophy, a rarity for a defenseman, and he was named to the end-of-season All-Star team 19 times, 13 on the first team and 6 on the second team.
Yeah, Bourque was also an Olympian with Canada and became nearly synonymous with the Boston Bruins franchise, for which he played 21 seasons.
Yeah.
That's like the full age of somebody being born and growing up to then drink alcohol.
Yeah.
That's insane.
He lived a
full generation.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Yep. And became Boston's longest-serving captain. Bourque finished his career with the Colorado Avalanche, with whom he won his only Stanley Cup championship and his final NHL game. In 2017, he was named one of the 100 greatest NHL players, and to most sports fans out there or hockey players, he's probably top 5.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Definitely huge when he came to the Avalanche. I remember that. That was when they won the Cup back in 2001. It was really cool to see, especially them handing the trophy to him after they won, and just like how emotional he was. And
that's cool. Yeah.
Like it went from the captain to immediately Ray Bourque, and it was a really emotional thing. And it was cool to see just because he'd been 21 seasons trying to get that damn thing and couldn't do it.
Yeah, it's just insane to play that long on the Boston Bruins, which was a good franchise, and then first year at the Avalanche gets it.
Yeah.
It just really worked out.
It really did. You look at his playing career, though, 1979 to 2001.
Unbelievable, man. Iron Man right there, dude. Such an Iron Man.
So crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Hockey guys are just nuts, man. They're wild.
And just sets the standard for defensemen. I mean, won the James Norris Award 5 times, but then came in second also 6.
Yeah.
So he was just right there at the top, like nearly at least over half of his
time,
career. Yeah.
And then also for Canada in the Olympics, he took silver in 81 and gold in 84 and 87 for the Canadian hockey team. So,
cool.
Dude did it everywhere. Yeah, like I said, it was cool to get to see him because that was right about the time, I remember the Avs winning, but that was like when I started getting into hockey and stuff, and I was like, oh, this is really something special happening here, so...
Well, it's cool, too, because sometimes when we do these guys for these different numbers, we may not be as aware of who they are, and it's pretty cool when we come across these guys that are legends.
Yeah, and most of these people have been legends because they are the best to wear each number. So it's always nice to, if you haven't learned about them, learn more about them.
That's what we're here.
Yeah, we're here
entertain
to learn
and educate.
Yes, we should probably change our to educational in terms of what the show is.
We definitely should.
Entertainment or sports, it's educational.
It's everything. Comedy, documentary. Who knows?
Well, Mr. Raymond Jean Bourque, this one is for you.
Here we are.
Cheers. Here's to episode 77. Let's get this show on the road.
Let's do it. Got my new shot glass that came all the way from Ireland.
Oh, yeah. From the Jameson Distillery.
That's pretty cool. Drinking Jameson because it's one of my favorite whiskeys.
Yeah.
And this, new shot glass works out.
Yeah, and
Thank you, Mr. Timmons.
I'm out of this world, so.
Yeah. Dude, when we got that, I always got to get, when we go to different cities.
That's from where you went.
From
which we'll talk
Florissant.
about. We might as well get into it now.
Yeah, so we go to this small grocery store, and dude, it is clearly the only grocery store these people talk about. I told you today where we looked it up. The town, which was closest to the Airbnb we stayed at, was 173 people. Like Andy Griffith level stuff, man. I mean, it was nuts.
People are whistling and shit.
Yeah, this grocery store was tiny, but so they have like a little, fucking knickknacks that you can go buy. So I had to get some shot glasses, and there's all these aliens on it. And so I thought, because I've heard there's an area down in South Colorado. I want to say it's the Dunes that there's a lot of UFO sightings. I think that's it. But I saw this, and I had to ask the cashier. I was like, so what's up with the aliens? You guys get a lot of UFO sightings? And she just like, this older lady's like, I don't know. I'm like, all right,
cool.
I'll take it.
Yeah. If anything, that's a better reason to get an alien shot glass. Like, why was it there? Like, nobody knew.
Nobody knew.
It's like the aliens
implanted it in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
But,
it's not the only thing in Colorado we have. We also have a big Bigfoot population, which we've learned about from
God, man,
the guy at work.
So funny.
Douglas
dude.
Colony.
Oh, wow.
Dan cracked up. He's like, that was pretty fucked up what you did to Chad. And I was like, I know, right? Because I totally baited you into having the Bigfoot conversation.
Oh, yeah. And I kept trying to get away, dude. I kept trying to get away.
You can't, dude.
No.
It's impossible.
I was literally walking away and already told him, like, oh, that's cool, man.
He's
Yep,
like, check out this
have a good
picture
day.
I drew.
Still holding up pictures, like pictures of woods, and it's just a stick. It's just clear. He's like, look, it's his arm. It's his arm.
Little inside information. There's a customer at work that comes in, and he's a super nice dude. Yeah. Very nice.
Happens to be a Chiefs fan.
Which makes sense.
We're a little out there.
Yeah. But he's a Bigfoot hunter, and I made the mistake of getting into a conversation with him once, and it was on a slow day, and I could not get away from him, and it was like 15 to 20 minutes later after like hearing and like same thing, showing you videos, and he's like, you see that right there? That right there is his shoulder, and I'm like, that looks like fucking
it's so
woods.
hard.
Looks like the woods to me.
It's what I told you. It's so hard not to laugh in his face, man. Because it's like this guy believes.
He's like, oh man, I go out there, I leave apples, and they go and they pick up those apples, they eat them. I'm out there feeding them.
Like, what do you think? You don't think squirrels go and eat those apples?
No,
man?
dude,
Like,
it's Bigfoot.
There's no logic in this guy's head, man.
I bet you, if you asked him, you could get him to do a Bigfoot call for you.
Oh, we should do that next time.
I hope he shows up.
When he
before
comes
the end
back
of the week.
around, call me over, man, and I'll do it.
Yeah,
dude, you know that would be great.
Bigfoot calls? Like, what do they sound like? I want to know.
Just fucking howling, man. Oh my god, this guy's got to be. He's got to know. He claims to have seen it. He just hasn't got it on camera. He goes out hunting all the time.
Yeah. He claims that there's, I think, 5 pods of Bigfoot that live in the mountains of Colorado, and apparently a pod of Bigfoot or Big Feet. I don't know how you say it when they're plural. Big Feets, Bigfoots,
Big folks.
Big folks. Apparently, there's like 7 to 9 in a pod, so we probably have the biggest population of Bigfoot in Colorado.
I mean, duh. They like the ski area. Just makes sense.
It does
Probably
make
Yetis
sense.
out here too.
Anyways, so that sidebar. Let's get back to Florissant. So, town's tiny.
Yep.
You're there. You stick out like a sore thumb. Well, actually, you said you kind of fit in.
It was kind of strange. It really was, to the best way to sum it up, a hippie / biker / lumberjack type of town. It really was unique in so many of its own ways, man. Dude, so the first night we got there, I told you we go to this place, really great restaurant, Iron Tree and Funky Town Brewery. Yeah, you can just imagine from the name what it's kind of like. I mean, very eccentric. They have this
Iron
back patio.
and funk, yeah, so it makes
with
sense.
These super trippy psychedelic murals on the side of a building. I had a smoked brisket sandwich that was fucking delicious. She unfortunately got some tacos that were not good. Yep, she has the worst luck at trying to get some good food. I'm easy. You can fucking put ham sandwich in front of me, I'm gonna be fine.
Yeah.
So the waiter's helping us, and he seems like he's stoned out of his gourd. And then the owner, who's the chef, comes. I mean, each place we ate at, every place we went there, it's like one employee. I mean, it was nuts, dude. It
He
really
just
was.
comes out and hangs out while you're eating. He's like, "So, how's the food?"
Yeah, there was
like,
a couple people that did that, man. The coffee shop we went to was built like in 1870. It's still the same building. I've got pictures because it's still very antique.
Crazy, a coffee shop's been around that long.
It's nuts. It was the first building
I know,
that's in that town.
Obviously,
And
it wasn't a coffee shop.
the lady was like,
Probably a whorehouse.
it could have been. I think they said it used to be an old schoolhouse. I mean, dude, it was nuts. They all still had
Also
the
known
antique.
as a whorehouse.
Yeah, that's what happened back then. But no, dude. So the waiter, the owner of Iron Tree, comes around, and we determined that guy had to have been microdosing. The way he was talking to us, his eyes, it takes one to know one. I was just like, yep, he's microdosing. There's no doubt about it. Yep. It's just
Nobody's
hilarious.
that happy and giggling, you know?
He's just kind of like a little spacey. His eyes are a little. I'm
Or
like,
he's
wow.
on the spectrum. Who knows?
They don't give a fuck, man. But yeah, either way, it was a great time. Fucking got in the hot tub over a dozen times. We were tucked away right up in the mountains. Saw a bunch of mule deer. Fantastic, relaxing time. Hard to come back, man. Really tough to come back.
Yeah.
But regardless, we did, and the company was sold while we were gone.
We probably shouldn't talk about that.
Oh, I guess we shouldn't. Yeah, I don't know.
But I don't know anybody there's going to listen.
Yeah. Oh well.
Either way.
It's basically Succession at work.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So yeah.
How was your weekend?
It was very eventful. I was very busy. So I was telling Chad before we got started we might possibly be adopting some pups. So on Thursday after work, was it Thursday or Friday? I think it was Thursday after work. We ended up going down to the people's house who we might be getting the dogs from because they're having to get rid of them because of some, financial stuff and having to downsize. So it's a big bummer for them, but they're having to get rid of 2 of their dogs. So we reached out. Meryl, one of the dogs caught Meryl's eye, and she's like, "Oh, this one just finally broke me." And I was like, "Yes."
Nice. Is it the one with a brindle coat?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's awesome.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to own a dog with a brindle coat.
Yeah, so one's like a boxer French bulldog mix, I think, and then the other's like a beagle like hound dog mix. They're both like under 30 pounds. Very sweet dogs, but they are a little nuts, so we're like gonna slow roll it. So we went and met them Thursday, and then next weekend we're taking them for like a quick stay the night, see how it goes away from the family, if there's how they act when they're, because they were like a little wound up when we were over there, but also new people showed up. They're all pumped.
Cool.
So I want to see what they're like away from the family situation. That's and how they are on their own. And we get it, like I said, they don't have to get rid of the dogs until June, so it's kind of a nice thing. Like, we don't have to just, here's the dogs, and now you have 2 dogs.
Yeah. That's a big commitment, man.
Yeah, it
Smart
is.
way to go about
it. It's a very big commitment, but it's cool and it's nice to help them out. Like, I guess if I had to get rid of dogs, I mean, I would, for one, it would have to be a situation like this where it's like I can't take them.
Yeah, you just have to.
Because, I couldn't imagine doing it, but I want them to go to somebody I knew. So I guess if anything, it's like...
Do you think you're going to rename them?
No, one of them, it sucks because the one that Meryl really likes, the dog's name's Penny. My parents' dog that I also adopt,
Yeah.
Pinty.
Yeah.
And, yeah. So we can't really change it. That one's the older one, and it is what it is. Meryl's like, we can call her Penny Lane from like the Beatles, and I was like, that's
what's Penny Lane?
Isn't it Penny Lane?
Oh, that's a song.
She's on my... Yeah, I think it's a Beatles song.
Yeah.
But I'm not big at the Beatles, and everybody's
I
like,
figured you
you don't
were.
fucking like the Beatles.
It's okay to not like the Beatles.
I've had many arguments with people about the Beatles. But
it's the most simple music to play ever.
It is, but they're really good. And after watching that crazy long Beatles documentary, did you ever watch that one? It's pretty good. It's like when they were recording their last album while they were breaking up.
Oh, really?
And they're like filming everything. And it's
shit.
like shows them like having like it's over like conversations and
God
stuff.
damn, that's
but
pretty
it's
crazy.
like 3.5 hours long.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know if I'm ready for that type of commitment for the Beatles, and I'm not super pumped on. But I did have a lot more respect for them afterwards.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
But well, yeah. So that was I don't know. That's the only one. It's Madeline and Penny.
Does it have to be Madeline?
Maddie? I don't know.
Yeah, that's a weird name for it.
There was a book or something.
Yep, book back in the day. It was like a
Yeah.
children's book where
Yeah.
she was part of a convent. She was like a kid in a convent, I think it was.
Yeah, I actually think you're right, which is very surprising because I was like, I don't know what that book is.
Steel trap, bro.
Look at you go.
And I went to a Catholic school.
Oh, yeah. A lot of shame involved.
Yeah.
But then Saturday we finished the last round of the sale for the estate thing, and we sold a bunch more shit.
Cool.
Then like the stuff that we kind of realized is like, it's probably not going to sell. Like, what's the point? We set it out for free. A lot of it disappeared.
Nice.
And then Sunday we went back over and went through what's left and put whatever else could be set out for free. And so there's just like a few big things, like some metal not filing cabinets, but like metal cabinets and stuff. And like one of them I might take and put in our like little shed to like just put shit in.
Yeah, it's good for that.
But we might sell the rest of them. And then we have a whole bunch of shit at our house that we have to sell. And then you start listing, and it's just very daunting.
It is. It's got to be a lot, man.
Yeah.
I hate having to sell shit.
Yeah, like fucking Friday night, I think I spent the whole night editing photos that we took of everything. Because it was like, it's like only like 15 items, but it's like multiple photos of each one. So it's like just a lot of shit.
Try to get it right.
And then Sunday, Easter, we went over to the fam, ate my mom's delicious Easter bread, which is...
what is that?
It's basically like a meat cheese pie.
Whoa. So like kind of like a shepherd's pie?
Kind of.
All right.
It's got this cheese called basket cheese, which is only available around Easter at Italian markets.
Oh, okay.
And they go to this Italian market of Valenti's off of, is it like 70th and Washington or Federal or
awesome,
something?
though.
I
used to go to
super good.
Spinelli's, dude, when I worked at Good Chemistry. Oh, dude, it was like the best deli sandwiches you could ever have.
This is literally just like a fucking meat cheese pie, dude.
Oh, wow.
It's just cheese and like Italian sausage and some really good like pastry bread.
I believe it. Your mom's a hell of a cook.
Yeah, it's super delicious. Everybody loves it. If there's any left over there, I'll bring some for you.
Did your nieces and nephews go hunting eggs?
They did. Yeah.
That's cool.
I mean, that's pretty much what Easter is anymore. Like, all the old people eat and drink, and then the kids just run amok.
Mm-hmm. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's a good time.
One of my niece's kids is, like, latched on to me whenever he sees me.
Oh, yeah.
Liam.
Yeah, I've never seen
Liam.
that kid.
He's a little madman. He's, a kid of my own heart. But I was messing around with him. He got, like, my mom got him some little, like, remote control car that you could control with, like, a wristband watch.
What?
Like, you could twist it, and it's forward, back.
That's so cool.
And then left, right, and I was like, he's not going to understand that.
Nah.
But there is buttons, and then he got forward and back, and then that's all he could do. He just would
ramming into shit.
he'd forward until it hit something, and then
back.
I was like, you hit back, and then back until it hit something. He just did that a bunch, and I was like, yeah, that's pretty much a little kid for me.
Man, the technology they got, these kids are spoiled.
I know. Drones and shit, and iPads.
Way better than what we
just
had.
assaulted
Sticks
each
and
other.
mud. Sticks and mud. That's what it was.
But yeah, and now we're here. So
that's cool. Hell yeah.
And we got to get into our guest.
We have
got
a guest coming on tonight. We had to eventually fire Greg. Wasn't coming on.
It's not surprising, honestly.
I think that's what happened at Tito's too.
Did we? Yeah, I think so.
No, I don't think we did.
We're gonna say we did.
Yeah. This guy hosts a sports gambling podcast, and he's going to come on to give us a few picks, and we're going to talk a little NFL. His name is Ryan Kramer.
Yes, so we're going to give him a jingle jangle right now. You are about to hear some ring-a-linging, and hopefully we don't call somebody random.
All right.
We're pretty close on time for once.
I know. I was pretty pleased with that.
Hello?
Hey,
Hello.
what's up, Ryan?
What's happening?
What's going on, man? It's Chris from Fringe Fanatics. We got Chad here as well. How are you doing?
What's up, man?
What's up, Chris and Chad? Doing great. This is a time of rehab and rejuvenation after the first week of March Madness. So
Yeah.
finally getting around back to it, hydrated, ready to go.
Smart.
Got
Yeah,
you an IV. You're locked and loaded.
Absolutely. It's funny. March Madness about a decade ago was the first time I encountered the beautiful women come to your hotel room and inject you with an IV service. So
Really?
Oh, wow.
I know you were joking there with the IV, but
I didn't expect you to hit me with that,
each their own.
honestly.
That's badass. I've always wanted to have that, man. Just like to get the IV and then boom, you're ready to go.
Yeah. That was cool. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that at
The
all.
casinos know how to keep you down gambling, you know?
That's
true.
smart. That's cool. So did you just get back from Vegas? Is that what happened or what?
Yeah, week one of March Madness has kind of become like a bit of like a reunion tour. Started just with some buddies probably 15, 16 years ago, and slowly grew into like everyone's buddies would go out, and then as the podcast grew and as it became more of a working weekend, it became kind of one of our meet and greet with the fan opportunities every year to kind of say, hey, we're going to plant the flag in Vegas for these 2 days. Come watch games with us.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned the podcast. Go ahead and shout it out right now so everybody can go and find you.
Yeah, so Sports Gambling Podcast, pretty simple. Kind of highlights how long we've been around.
Yeah, that was still available.
We were both early to sports gambling and the podcast.
Smart.
So, yeah, it was 2011 we've been doing it. And,
Wow.
yeah, basically, if you can bet on it, we cover it. So
that's awesome.
definitely
That
check
is
it out
cool.
if you're into gambling.
Yeah, way to stay
Well,
with
that's
it,
why I
for
reached
sure.
out to you, man. I was looking at it, and you guys definitely have a lot of background into it, and you guys definitely know your shit. So I was like, okay, we need to get this guy on. So I appreciate you coming on tonight, man. And, hopefully if this works out, and I'm sure it will, you seem like you know your shit. We've been looking to get like a regular on to either have like a call in with like a few locks, or you send us a text and then we'll talk about it or whatever, like, 'cause we're pretty new. I mean, we're not new into sports gambling. We've been doing it for a while, but we're nowhere near good or experts at it.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yep.
Well, it's funny you say that. We often joke that we're sports gambling Sherpas. We don't necessarily climb the mountain for you, but we certainly want to help you get to the top a little easier.
I like that.
And yeah, I'm happy to be. I love being someone's gambling guy. Are you kidding me? When big gambling news breaks, like this Ohtani thing, you know how many random people reach out to me for the first time in 3 months? It's amazing.
Well,
were you the one making the bets? Is that what they were asking? Were you the one placing it for the translator?
It's funny. I've told so many people the same thing, and it's like, yeah, who knows what was actually going on. It's somewhat plausible, but I got to be honest, it would be difficult for just about anyone to get that kind of credit limit. So,
Yeah,
you
that's
do
the
the
thing.
math. I don't want to out Ohtani, but I have a feeling he might have been involved.
Yeah, that's the thing. You couldn't even like getting that amount out of someone's account. That person had to be involved. That was always our thing. It's like there's no way Ohtani there's 4.5 million just went out of his account without him knowing.
Yeah, it's pretty fishy. So, Ryan, where are you out of? If you can remind me and all the listeners out there, is it North Carolina? Where you at?
Yeah, so I'm originally from Jersey. My co-host on the Sports Gambling Podcast is from Philly area. So we're kind of culturally predisposed to being gamblers, being sports bettors. But we both did the, hey, we're going to move west, check out California, and never left. So now we're based out of Los Angeles.
Okay.
Our studio is probably, a couple miles from the Rose Bowl, so more on the north side of town.
Sweet.
But yeah, live in beautiful sunny California, which allows us to be a 35-minute flight from Las Vegas.
That's so awesome.
Oh, that's awesome.
Just
Easy.
a hop, skip, and a jump.
Yeah.
Oh, it's absolutely dangerous because there's also just this tiny little airport over here, Burbank. So the friction of just hopping on a plane and being in Vegas, like checked in at a hotel 2 hours later, it's slippery when wet. You know what I mean?
It's a good way to get a problem.
Well, let's hear it, Ryan. I'm dying to know, man, because I need to make some picks tonight. What do you think going forward? We asked you to make like 3 or 4 locks for us. It could be March Madness, whatever you got going on. Lay it on us, man.
So it's funny. I figured, not knowing the level of degenerate that your audience is, I brought 3 layers of picks here.
That's
Okay.
awesome.
And the first layer is for the TMZ fan It's for the person on the surface level. Everyone's watching the Final Four.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing surprising here. And I'm not one of these guys that's going to sit here and constantly tell you about how there's value in an underdog when there's not. And what I've seen in this tournament is a great run from North Carolina State. I love the parallels to the Jimmy V, shout out to all Italian Americans, run from the '83 year. But this is something different. And I got to be honest, the way that they've been playing, the way that they've been winning, they're now running up against the big bad giant. That's Zach Edey. He's mad. We saw it. He's telling everyone about his boner. He's being angry at the post game podium. I love the spot they're in. I'm going to lay the points with Purdue, and I'm also going to lay the points with UConn because it doesn't take a rocket scientist or a gambling expert to tell. UConn's been a wagon. They've been a bucket. They've been unstoppable. Their coach is an absolute psycho. He finds any bit of motivation. He was pissed off in the Elite Eight because they got the early game. He felt that was disrespectful to a team of that class. So he will find motivation from anything. I think Alabama's the ultimate boomer bust spot here, and you're going to hear smart people talk about why Alabama can keep up with this UConn team because they're going to make shots. That's fine. I haven't seen a team do it yet. So UConn rolls, lay the points. It's probably 11, maybe it's 12.
11 and
Again,
a half
doesn't
right now,
matter.
yeah.
11 and a half right now, chalky. So that's the TMZ layer of what I'm doing in the Final Four.
Okay.
The next layer beneath that is, I'm sure some people are aware, but there's another basketball tournament called the NIT.
And we
Not
got
familiar.
Indiana State's, man. This kid.
Cream Abdul-Jabbar.
Steph Blurry, he's got a million nicknames.
Larry Nerd.
And they're playing in Indiana. That's the thing. I think a lot of people still think the NIT plays the Final Four in New York. Maybe they're playing in Indiana. They were laying a big number against Utah. No big deal. And now they got a very, very hungry Seton Hall team up next. But Indiana loves basketball. It will be a very, very pro Indiana State crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw this Indiana State team win a lot of games all year. I love laying the short number, the point and a half with Indiana State here over Seton Hall.
They should have been in the
second
tournament,
layer.
though, too. I thought they were robbed. I
But
think they
honestly,
really were.
both teams should have been in the tournament.
Yeah.
And I think, like, the debate is always fun to say who should have been in, who should have been out. You have a great team on one side in Indiana State. They're showing that by committing to, like, this tournament, going deep in this one. And same with Seton Hall. Coming from a great conference, I think we all kind of agree that the Big East was a little bit disrespected.
Very much
And
so.
so, yeah, I mean, good to see them actually opt into playing basketball and trying to win a trophy. So, yeah, should be a great game. Excited to take it in. That's layer 2 of the picks.
So you're taking
Layer three
Indiana
is for the real
State money
defense.
line? Is that what you said?
Indiana State minus the 1.5.
Yeah, minus
Gotcha.
1.5.
Okay.
And then I'm going to take you down one more layer.
It's like an
Because I
onion.
doubt you thought you were going to be talking about USFL
This is like Shrek.
football this weekend. XFL football this weekend.
Whatever it
They
is,
both came
UFL.
together. They made a baby. It's called the UFL. Listen, last week went a ridiculous 9-0 in
I
the
saw
UFL.
that. Yeah.
We have guys. It's one of the few areas, one of the few sports we probably have an edge on the world. We have our own private depth charts. One of the big keys we looked into last week was unders. This is a spring football league, so think preseason. What is a preseason total that you're comfortable with? It should be in the mid-30s.
Yeah.
They opened all these totals last week. They were in the mid-40s, low 40s. That's crazy. We took all the unders. They all come in.
Damn.
Wow.
This week, what do? They surely adjusted this week. Negative.
Wow.
The lowest total is 40.5, but we're going to do it again. We're going to take all 4 unders in these games. It's phenomenal. It's almost like they don't watch the games, and so that will be level
might not.
3 of the degeneracy. I'll give you all 4 unders in the UFL game this week.
Well, I didn't even think, honestly, it makes total sense, though. I mean, these guys are all obviously, the bottom of the barrel in terms of what's trying to make it to the NFL. The unders is a total lock. I wouldn't even have thought of betting on the UFL, but it makes insane sense.
When I found you, I started following you on Twitter, and I did notice your post that, like, you guys do make these picks on UFL, and it's like, It's just genius. I'm trying to look here on our fan. We're in Colorado, and we know that there's different stipulations on stuff you can bet on in different states, like prop bets and college. But I don't see on FanDuel an option to bet on UFL. Might have to go in a nefarious route.
Colorado is usually the good state. I know DraftKings has it, and DraftKings has been first to market. That's the thing. Not everyone is trying to put these numbers out there, and that's why, honestly, the limits weren't crazy for week one. My limit was $300, but I mean, you're still talking about a situation where these are professional teams, and like you said, whether the quality is less important than the fact that they don't have long training camps. Like, they don't have a lot of practice time.
Yeah.
And if you follow the NFL, in training camp the defense is always ahead of the offense.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Why? Well, defense is a little bit easier, right? The offenses tend to be a little bit more complex, and so
Yeah.
you see the unders trending. And the one caveat to that I would say is that teams that have been running the air raid offense have tended to kind of have a little bit of an advantage. And we saw that last week with the San Antonio Brahmas winning as a big underdog. But yeah, no, I mean, the unders, they're putting them back at 40. It's unbelievable. And like I said, I think DraftKings does have them open. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'll have to check on that one, because I have known that FanDuel and DraftKings may not have the same things to bet on sometimes. So I'll definitely look into that.
I'm trying to check on DraftKings right now. I did want to ask you, though, this kind of came out last week, that the NCAA is going to limit prop betting, or maybe just completely get rid of it on college sports. For somebody who's in sports gambling, what does that mean to you, or how do you feel about that?
It's like the fear mongering. In California, they're making it seem like that the existence of sports gambling on a mobile device is going to allow your middle school age kid to gamble all of a sudden, as if know your customer and like ID stuff doesn't exist. I think what you're looking at is you're looking at people who are taking the like meathead 1950 approach, like New Jersey, for example. You can't bet on teams from New Jersey in New Jersey. That's absolutely not going to solve the problem.
No.
Yeah, there's all these weird caveats where that's not going to solve the problem. There are plenty of areas where you can bet in the gray market. You can find a guy named Tony. Look at Otani. He didn't have a problem getting some action in a state like California.
That's true.
So I think this idea that you're going to ban college props because you think that these college kids are going to – there's all these scandals that are going to happen. I think you're just dealing with a new industry. There's always going to be people that break the rules. But you want to talk about governing and regulating this type of stuff. I mean, this is no different than our politicians, trading stock on private information.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
a damn good
that
point.
doesn't seem to be a problem. So honestly, I think college props are good for the sport. I think there's a reason why the women's tournament is being watched by more people than ever. It's because of brackets. It's because of gambling. It's because in some states, you can play player props on these women. And I think that draws interest because now I'm invested in you.
Yeah.
I did see
and
news.
So, yeah, I don't.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go. I was just going to say, I just don't see the problem with it. I don't see, this isn't how you stop corruption. This isn't how you stop someone dirty and crooked from going to try to buy a player. We were at the Super Bowl this year, and we bumped into some young kid was trying to break into media, and he was explaining to us that he had been an SEC quarterback that was approached by the mob to he didn't really color in the details, but it was like, you have to assume this stuff happens.
Wow.
But
yeah.
I think making the entire industry illegal is not the answer. You just have to solve the problem of, well, the more we legalize this and the more we regulate it, the more we're actually able to combat it. I mean, all of these stories we hear about the irregular gambling, whether it's Murray in the NBA or whatever other story, these are all being detected by the gambling company. And I'll tell you what, who's not detecting this? The bookie down the street that you meet once a week and pay cash to.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and I wanted to bring that up because this wouldn't have been probably such a big story if it wasn't for the Otani thing and then the Jonte Porter thing like a day later. Obviously put it in the forefront of the media, but yeah, I mean, it's going to happen no matter what. There's always going to be bad seeds, but yeah, I don't know how you're going to completely get rid of it. It's going to happen no matter what. And like you said, the first thing that alerted anybody to the Jonte Porter thing was the fact that DraftKings put out that was their biggest, gambling of that night was on the unders of Porter's stuff. So, yeah, I don't know.
That's just really random too.
Do you remember the college baseball scandal from last year with the Alabama coach? It was a similar thing where it was like, it was just like, this guy, the baseball, they were going to change their starting pitcher. No one knew about it. And the coach basically told a buddy to try to go place a bet.
Yeah.
And this guy came in and tried to place $100,000 bet on something that the sportsbook hadn't taken more than $100 on. And so it immediately created these red flags, and they very quickly identified what was going on. So, yeah, I think in general, you're going to see the early attack on sports gambling with, to legislate it, we just need to remove it. And I think over time, hopefully they realize that there are more intelligent ways to, in fact, the existence of it being legal and being available will actually, in many cases, lead you down a safer path, because when something bad is happening, you're catching it versus not being aware of it.
I think that's a really good take on it, because when I think it was on ESPN or something like that, when all this Ohtani stuff was going on, they had one of their ESPN bet guys on talking about this, and he was asked, do you think it's bad for it? What do you think of the prop betting? He was on the same tip, where it's like the gamblers and the bookmakers are going to be the ones to catch this stuff. It's not going to be the police or FBI or anything like that. If you remember the Arizona State thing that had the great bad sport, it was the gamblers that caught on to it, and before any of the authorities did.
Yeah, the casinos figured it out when all those guys were showing up, putting hundreds of $1,000s and pushing the line.
Pushing the line, yeah. But yeah,
even with Temple basketball, we saw the same thing. People, all of a sudden, this line's moving 5-6 points, and it's like, well, something's going on here. Has to, right? This is where, it's no different than you're a stock trader and you see a stock trading at 25% the market capital it was 2 hours ago. Something's obviously changed.
Yeah. Yeah, just funny. It's like everybody's like, who's gonna be the one to look over this? And it's like the gamblers are gonna police this better than anybody else.
Yeah, they're the ones that catch it, because they're already combing through, looking at every little inkling of data. But so today Louisiana came out and said they are banning licensed sports books in the state from offering prop bets on college athletes. It will go into effect August 1st, 2024.
Damn.
Yeah.
Perfect example of a state that is, they're like, all right, let's go get our sledgehammer to fix this problem.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think you'll probably see, honestly, the states that you'll see probably legal, go down this path, are the SEC states where the colleges wield a tremendous amount of power.
Yeah.
And they generally are run by people who are older school and probably, don't quite understand what they're working with.
That's so true. Yeah.
That's a
college
good point,
football
man.
rules that region.
It does.
There's no doubt about it.
Well,
okay. I didn't know if we lost you for a second. Yeah. But I think what we'll probably do
Go ahead.
Is we'll put out a post of your locks as well, and if we make this a weekly thing, which we would like to, we'll just kind of create a template, and we'll just put out your locks each week, which then send people to your page. I've been following your picks on Twitter and stuff. I think that's a great place to go. So you're from the New Jersey area. Are you a Giants fan?
I am a Giants fan.
Okay.
It's been a rough decade or so.
You never know. It's like, is it Jets or Giants?
I know. It's either one. But
I'll tell you, when I was growing up, it was Jets, Mets, and Nets, all losers. That was what my uncle used to tell me.
That's a good way to go about it. Yeah. Well, I applaud that, for instead of going for the popular picks with the Yankees or anything like that. That's awesome. Or the Knicks.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I grew up a Yankees fan. I grew up a Knicks fan. I'm still, I still pay attention, but kind of more into football. And, being a Yankee fan remote, you don't want to be one of those Yankees.
You don't.
Fans, so.
That's the same people that are the Cowboys and Warriors fans.
Yeah.
That's like LeBron, right? He's a Cowboys fan. He's a Yankees fan.
Exactly.
He's a Lakers fan. He's just, he's picking first in every draft.
Yeah.
Why not?
So Give me what you think. Who are the Giants taking in the draft? Are they going to trade back?
I think it's been a wild roller coaster. It does seem like there now is all this noise that Drake May could be falling out of the top 3. JJ McCarthy going inside. The Giants love Drake May. I can tell you that. I think Drake May is the guy that they like the most, and I can also tell you off the record, but on the record, that in talking to one of these quarterback prospects' dad, that he felt very confident that this quarterback wasn't going to fall past number 6, aka the Giants. And so that shows me like a different level of interest. But that being said, I don't think it's going to work out unless they trade up. And so at their pick, I think they're really intrigued by Odunze or Neighbors. I'll say Neighbors because I think Neighbors, everything that Joe Shane and this Giants organization has done since he's taken over is speed-based. And Neighbors is the speed guy. Neighbors is the game-breaking, can take the 2-yard hitch and give you an 80-yarder. I would say, if I was ranking it, I think I like the fact that currently the favorite for the Giants is to draft the receiver first. It's like -175. Quarterback is maybe +140. So I think that's accurate. I would say they draft Neighbors even over Harrison or Odunze. And if they do manage to find their way to a quarterback, the guy they're trading up for is Drake May.
Okay.
All right, I like that.
So if they take a wide receiver, they're going to roll Daniel Jones out for one more year, basically.
You must have missed the news that they signed Drew Lock.
Oh, shit. Well, my bad. As a Broncos fan, play. I haven't been keeping up on him, but...
No, I do think they're going to end up drafting a guy. So if they go early quarterback or early receiver, I think there is a chance that you end up seeing him go after a Penix, maybe a Spencer Rattler.
And the news of today is Penix is moving up quick.
Oh, wow.
They're thinking he's going to
right?
they're thinking now the Broncos, it could be the Broncos.
See, that's surprising because I've heard a lot of teams that are kind of a little weary on all of his knee injuries.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Some teams.
So we just talked to a scout. Yeah, we just talked to a scout who reminded us how much Sean Payton loves big hands, and which is really interesting because it does eliminate a couple of the top guys. But the scout was really convinced that Bo Nix is the guy that the Broncos are going to go after.
That's who I keep saying. It seems
that way, but
he's got a lot of experience. Been in the college for 8-9 years, I think.
And and then when you look at his stats from last year, you're like that's pretty wild. Yeah. It's like 41 touchdowns to 3 interceptions.
I don't mind the guys that have like the guys that failed have already had some failure, like Bo Nix, Michael Penix, Spencer Rattler. They all failed at a program or at least had a reason to transfer to another program and had to kind of deal with a little bit of adversity already. I think Bo Nix just lines up so much to what Sean Payton did with Drew Brees. He's super accurate in the short area of the field. He does have those big hands. He's confident, plays with a certain moxie, a little bit of that. I don't want to say gunslinger, but just has a little bit of that attitude in him. Honestly, I am shocked, not to get into NFL win totals, but I am shocked that the Broncos are being disrespected with a win total of 5.5.
You just said that to a Chiefs fan, and I'm the Broncos fan, and I think 5.5 is probably close. But I've been dealing with this now for going on 9 years.
You're right, but it just seems like that with that coaching structure and how the team started to shift once Peyton started throwing out the bad apples. It seems like a tick or two too low, and the Chiefs don't have anything to worry about. I mean, come on, easiest bet every year is Chiefs to win that division.
Yeah,
that's not
shit. No, I'm not too worried about them. I just love hearing that they might only win 5-6 games. That just gives me joy anytime. But I definitely think that there's a chance that they could be better next year, given Sean Payton's history. You can't expect that guy to totally turn around an NFL franchise in just a year,
especially one that's been in the doldrums for as long as they have, and just filled with a bunch of failures
and crippled with Russ's. His guaranteed money and all that he's got to get around, and they were riddled with injuries. But I think Bo Nix is a good fit there. And just to shift back to the Giants, I think that's a great pick because I mean, who's the number one wide receiver right now? Wandale Robinson?
It might be.
It's certainly. I mean, it's what they're missing, and so I think. I certainly think the spin, as a fan, is if you draft everyone agrees that these top 3 receivers are all like bona fide number ones in every other class. So if you can lock in a number 1 receiver, it makes everyone else better. I mean, look at Minnesota as example.
Yeah.
Justin Jefferson's so good, he convinced the entire world that Kirk Cousins is somehow like this Super Bowl contender quarterback. The guy's won 1 playoff game.
Well, the guy knows how to make money.
And so, that elite receiver sets you up. And so, yes, I think the Giants, I am a little terrified of the idea that it's another year of Daniel Jones with no other plan. But I do think they've spent too much time on the quarterback class not to be taking a quarterback. And so the other side of this is they do trade up. They do take the quarterback early, and they see that this is a deep receiver class. And maybe they take someone like a Keon Coleman or something in the second, third round. And so, the draft is always a fun crapshoot, and you always have to be prepared to kind of be excited, I guess, for a player. I'll never forget Kadarius Toney, because that was one where I was like, oh, no, that's a horrible pick. I hate this right now. So, the draft has been tough. Coming out of Gettleman, I'm a little shell-shocked, but I'm excited for this year because it does seem like one way or another the Giants are going to draft a game-changing player.
One can hope.
Yep. Hey, you guys got the Chiefs' old QB coach and Mike Kafka there, so I'm just hoping for nothing but success there in New York.
Oh, appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Well, man, one more time, go ahead, let everybody know where they can find you, and we'll let you get out of here, man.
Oh, yeah, man. At Kramer Centric on social. You can follow the pod at Gambling Podcast, Sports Gambling Podcast, anywhere you listen or watch. And, check us out. We're not just a show. We're an entire network. So if you bet on it, we got it covered.
Hell yeah, man.
That's awesome.
I might be trying to double my money on the UFL this weekend. So.
I think I'm going to. Oh, and I wanted to give you an update. I did look through. FanDuel just has it really tough. It's not like, they have their banner of different sports you can pick through.
You got to search it.
You have to really search it, but it is available to bet on.
That's because they're scared. They're scared of us.
They don't want everybody to know.
I'm doing it, dude. I'm going full under on all of them.
Yeah, and it's on DraftKings too. So definitely going to take your advice on that one. And then, we'll be in contact. And, if you want, we could do something if you want to just send us a voice note or something so you don't have to call us and take time out of your night, we could just play that real quick or we'll figure something out because definitely interested to get your insight, man.
Out.
Yeah. Well, thanks a lot for coming on, Ryan.
We'll sort something out. All right, man.
Cool.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks, man.
Cheers. Have a great night.
Later.
Well, that went well.
It did.
I had a feeling he might give some UFL picks, dude. I've
thought
on his Twitter
about it
because
it's a good way to. It's like he said, it's basically preseason football.
Yeah,
but not.
Yep.
So you can actually everybody. It's not like where it's the NFL where okay, how long are the starters going to play? They're all the starters, but it's just a full preseason
and
game.
they're not that good. So the Vegas hasn't quite figured out how to make the lines yet.
Yeah.
So that's where experts like this guy has really got to figure it out.
Ryan knows what's up. Make sure to go and check out him on Twitter.
I'm gonna say it one more time because let's see, it's Ryan Kramer at Kramer Centric.
Oh, Kramer Centric.
Kramer Centric.
So at Kramer Centric on Twitter, and then the Sports Gambling Podcast wherever you get your podcasts, whether you watch or listen. So that was really cool. Definitely excited. Hopefully we can turn that into a flourishing friendship,
like a new segment, right there.
Because that's cool. Like I said, if we can get him just to send us a quick here's my locks for the week, and then I just here's Ryan's locks. Bah.
I just feel way more confident telling I almost said the customers, the listeners to check that out rather than listen to my stupid ass picks, man. Hey, I will say though, I won the Small A bracket challenge though.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Well, it's pretty much a lock, but I mean, it's good. I'm in first place right now.
How'd you pull that off? Because I'm fucking way down there now. But...
I did. I picked a UConn, and I got Purdue in the Final Four in that bracket. And so if either one of them win, then that'll definitely propel it.
All right,
and one of mine, dude, I had NC State in the Final Four.
Oh, damn.
But I forgot to put it in any it
No,
ain't
you
groups.
didn't. You just
so mad
picked
at
it and didn't
myself,
actually
dude.
like.
Yeah,
That's
I can't because I had a real good feeling about NC State, but I'm glad he brought them up. We're going to be talking about them a little later.
Definitely. Next week, I've had a super busy week, so next week we will have we have a new. Now I can tell you, we have a new music break guest. The name of this band is Boot Gun. They are from Denver, Colorado. They are a very cool, a rockin' band. If you haven't, go check them out. They will be our music break guest for the month of April, and next week I will have like a video, and you will be hearing their songs on the Twitch stream. So
Cool.
But you are about to hear Till It Ain't by Boot Gun off of their new album, One for the Willing. We will be back in just a second. See you guys in a bit.
Baby, been knocking on my back door. Got the heebie-jeebies, knew all along. So heavy, make you feel it in your bones. Set your mind at ease. What could go wrong? It is what it is. Until it ain't. It is what it is. Until it ain't, my baby. Softly, as if I play piano. Come on and tickle my ivory. Get all day long. Baby, I'll see you on the dance floor. You got the shaky feet. It's turning me on. It is what it is. Until it ain't. It is what it is. Until it ain't. It is what it is. Until it ain't. It is what it is. Until it ain't, my baby. It is what it is. Until it ain't. Yes, it is what it is. Until it ain't. It is what it is. Until it ain't. It is what it is. Until it ain't. It is what it is.
And we are back. You just heard Boot Gun. They are the music break guest of this month, so make sure to go give them a like and a follow on all things streaming. As well, their new album, One for the Willing, is for sale on their Bandcamp, bootgun.bandcamp.com. As you can tell, most of the bands we talk about on the show, I give out their Bandcamp because that goes directly to them, which is the best thing possible. So, also, I meant to tell you, I think I'm going to set it up hopefully this weekend, but get us a little store going on like one of those like Threadless.
Okay.
They just basically like print. We can just like make a couple shirts or like a couple logos, and then you could get them printed.
Kind of like
wherever
on
you want.
Society 6.
Yeah.
Remember that one? Yeah,
Yeah.
sweet. Cool.
So that was the plan of that. So you will be able to get merch from us sooner than later, but in the meantime, just make sure to like and follow us on everything. But
Do it.
we are at the shot of the turn.
Now.
I'm going to give this shot out to Ryan Kramer. Dude,
Yes.
thanks for hopping on. That was
That was a hell of a job.
really informative, and if you're looking to get into sports betting, he's the guy to follow, so make sure to do that, and then we are going to get in headlines after the shot. So cheers to you, Chad.
Cheers to our future enterprise of betting on UFL.
Yes, we are going to break the bank of the casinos on UFL. So
I like how he said his limit was 300. It's like, goddamn.
like,
My limit's
I'm a
3.
broke bitch.
Totally different.
Cheers.
Cheers. I feel like these shot glasses are different where it's easy just to throw it back. I don't know why.
We should just shotgun them.
Yep.
I don't know how you do it.
Oh,
but...
my God. Dude, in high school, I saw this guy, Nick Spooner, take a beer bong, and I can't remember who did it. I think it was Charlie, that put whiskey in the beer as he was bonging it. And he threw up so fucking bad, man. I would never want beer and whiskey in the same mix.
One time I was being dumb when I was at my cousin's house, and my brother Jeremy and me and my cousin Joey and Andrew were out on his back patio, and I thought I could chug like a 750 of whiskey.
Oh, no.
One of the dumber things I've ever done.
Oh, my God. How far did you get?
Barely halfway.
Oh, jeez, dude,
And
that's
then-
so bad.
And then I projectile vomited.
Oh, I bet, man.
And which sucked because it was just like I just projectile vomited straight whiskey.
Yeah.
So like it
burned.
sucked on the way down and then it sucked on the way out.
Oh, dude. I remember seeing videos. I think my mom showed me, like, it was a segment of on fucking Oprah or one
She's
of
like,
those
you better
shows.
not be doing this.
It was one of these, the trend back in the day where all those kids were, like, chugging vodka. And then, like, that's how they were, like, dying of alcohol poisoning and shit. Can't be doing that shit.
No, that's how you die.
Sip it. You gotta sip it, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Don't act like you got a problem. Just slowly drink until you don't realize that you've had one.
Long drawn out.
It's time to get into headlines.
Headlines! Get your headlines here!
That's right. It's time for headlines. It's been a busy week in sports, but there's not a bunch of headlines, so to speak, but there's been a lot going on.
Yes, there has been. This is the first week I'm not using the legal pad. I
didn't even notice that.
Yeah, I've been trying. Now that we've got this great shared note, I've been trying to go off this.
Oh my God! So you're totally in
I'm
the
off. My game's off.
technological realm.
I
Now.
know.
How do you feel?
Feel like an old man. Like, goddamn, where's my notes?
Where's my pad?
Yeah.
I need to write down tangibly. Well, we're gonna get into the NFL first, as we always do,
Hit it, Rhea.
because
Personal foul, 69, offense. He was giving them the business.
that's right, and we are giving you the business of football.
The Chiefs news, because there's a couple different Chiefs news.
Yeah, we will start out with the big news of today. Sorry, I kind of cut you off there. I forgot that we have all these. I'm still getting used to the new setup over here, so I'm forgetting things every once in a while. And I had the.
As long as you keep hitting the John Daly one, that's all.
That's all that matters. I'd move that one so I don't do that anymore, so I won't. So unfortunately, you are screwed.
Yeah.
But big news in the NFL today.
Crybaby finally gets what he wants.
Yes, Stephon Diggs has been traded to the Houston Texans for basically what seems like nothing. And I think we are realizing now that the players this year have a very diminished value in terms of like what people are getting for them.
Yeah.
And this is why. The Bills will receive a 2025 second-round pick via Minnesota from the Houston Texans, while they will also send a 2024 sixth-rounder and a 2025 fifth-rounder to the Houston Texans along with Diggs.
So they're sending Diggs and 2 picks, and they're getting
For a
one
second-round pick.
back.
Oh, and don't forget that they are taking a $31 million dead money hit.
Thank you for bringing
which
that
I
up.
think is the 4th highest. I know because the first is Russell Wilson.
There's no doubt about that. But to me, this reminds me of a tale that's old as time. I believe it was like 1972, maybe something like that. It was the Flint Tropics that traded a washing machine for
Monix.
Monix, thank
Yes,
you.
for Monix.
This reminds me of that exact situation.
What did we give up for him? We got rid of the washing machine.
So, Stephon Diggs, you're pretty much worth a washing machine.
Yeah, but I mean, you even look at it too. It's like, and I was, we brought this up at work earlier. I was talking to Dan, but you look at like Snead, dude, like one of the best cornerbacks in the league last year.
Yeah.
third round pick.
Third round, and I think it was a conditional swap in the later rounds. But still, it's like it's crazy that that's the case. And
Justin Fields, what was it, fifth?
Yeah, that was next to nothing, man. I mean, he started. I think he started every game last year, right?
I think he did.
Yeah. It was the previous year. I think he was hurt.
He was hurt. But still,
but yeah, it's just nuts. I mean, what is going on with this?
Well, we know what's going on with Stephon Diggs, and
true.
They got the curmudgeon out of Buffalo. It was, pretty apparent last year, the shit going on the sidelines, and even the year before.
I was gonna say it
started at the end of the year last year.
I believe it was 4 years he was in Buffalo, right?
Yeah.
I think you could take all 4 of those years, and if you compiled a video of all of the tantrums and turmoil that he had just on the sidelines, it'd probably be an 8 to 10 minute long video.
Yeah, probably.
I mean,
but so and the thing too is the Bills are extremely hamstrung right now in the cap situation. After all the money they paid to Von Miller, they've also got Josh Allen, and now they've got the $31 million they're eating on Diggs. It's just like they are in cap hell. And I don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah.
It's very interesting because they are now a very wide receiver hungry team. You would think that in the first round, that is going to be their first pick.
But they have the 28th pick. And guess what? You want to run through their wide receiver room?
What is it?
Curtis Samuel.
KJ Hamler. I'm pretty sure KJ Hamler's there now.
I don't think he's there. I didn't see it when I pulled up the list earlier.
Shit, maybe he's not. I thought that's where he went after he left the Broncos. But
keep
going.
Okay. And then Khalil Shakir, who really was coming on at the end of the year. He had more, I think, receiving yards in the divisional game against the Chiefs than anybody, I believe. And then Mac Hollins, who, if people aren't aware, had 2 good games last year on the Falcons.
Yeah.
That's who they got.
KJ Hamler is on that team.
Okay, thank you.
But
list and put it on there.
Someone just popped on. Browns Super Bowl 2025. Sorry, Chiefs Nation, but expect an 8-9 run this year. I don't know who this is.
Ask him who it is.
We got a new follower.
I don't know of anybody.
I
know
love
that's
the prediction.
How do I know that's a Browns fan? I don't know. All right. Well, man, it's just crazy. This is everybody kind of expected it was going to be Dallas because Trayvon Diggs, Stephon's brother, plays for in Dallas, but it just seems apparent that Stephon was that's the only reason you get rid of a player and get nothing in return like that.
Well,
is because he's just
sucked.
Dying to get out of there, and he had a horrible playoff run.
Russ, you just can't. You cannot make it work.
Yeah,
that's it.
It seems like, when we bring up this question of like, oh, why aren't these players getting much in return? Snead is kind of like
that was the one that blew my mind. I'm just like, dude, the track record's there though.
The knee injuries, like he was questionable on almost every game last year because of the knee injuries, and so because of that whole thing, teams didn't feel very safe on it. I think that's why he didn't draw a first-round pick. But with the Diggs thing and other, like the Russ one, the Justin Fields one, it just seems like these teams are like, okay, if they didn't have a great year last year, there's no sense in giving up a lot for him.
No, but I mean, he's still got to be a top 10 wide receiver.
Yeah, I mean, but it's tough. You look at guys like Nico Collins, these guys that he's joining on the Texans. I mean, he's really...
And we talked about it before the show. There's been already memes where it's like, I saw one earlier that was Antonio Brown running off the field, and it's like Stephon Diggs after the first pass goes to Nico Collins. We had another one sent to us that was, what was it?
Oh, Dan sent it to me, where it's the famous photo of Stephon Diggs looking at the Chiefs celebrating, and instead of it said Stephon Diggs next year, and it's just him watching the Chiefs celebrate, but he's in a Texans jersey.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that one. That was a good one.
But yeah,
so
it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. He's entering one of the better wide receiver rooms just off of last year, and most of these guys were no names. I mean, Tank Dell, Red Jello seems to think the Texans will be washed this year as well.
Yeah,
I like this guy, or whoever this is. I like him.
I want to know who it is.
But
dude, I'm going to be drafting all of the Texans in fantasy next year.
Oh, why not?
Except for Diggs, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in terms of other NFL news, we did have a couple things with the Chiefs, unfortunately. Both not the best of stories. And I'll let you take the first one, which is the stadium.
Oh, I feel like it's a good one. That one, to me, is great because too often these franchises that are worth billions of dollars ask for taxpayer money to get renovations or stadiums. That is such bullshit. These owners are billionaires. They could fund it themselves.
Yeah.
We've seen where other stadiums are doing that. I can't name any off the top of my head, but it is a common thing where sometimes they don't put it in the taxes, because I think what it was the Johnson County residents were going to have a 0.023 sales tax increase for like the next 15 to 16 years, I think it was, to help pay for this. And it was going to move the Royal Stadium from Truman Sports Complex to downtown. That would open up all this space where the Chiefs were going to have this renovations to do all these crazy things with the parking lot, and it got shot down. And as much as I love the Chiefs and Royals, that's not enough to entice them to take more money out of their pockets, while Clark Hunt, loved the guy, loved what he represents and all that, but he also has a 3-story suite in Arrowhead where he could
basically made a fucking condo.
Yeah, he
It's
put
like
a condo.
a house.
It's fucking sweet. It's really sweet. If I was a baller, if I was the owner, I'd do the same thing. But regardless, you can't ask money from the taxpayers, especially when it's a place like
Especially
Kansas
when
City.
you own like the ketchup industry. Oh no, I'm wrong.
Dude,
I'm
what
thinking
are you
Clark Hunt.
talking
That's
about?
fucking. That's the Steelers, isn't it?
They don't even That's not the name of the staging anymore. It's Acrisure.
I know, but
But
wasn't
there's
the Hunt family with Hunt's ketchup?
Dude, you are on drugs. You're hilarious. The Roonies owns the Steelers. They don't have anything to do with ketchup. Heinz Field is what you're thinking of.
That's what I'm fucking thinking of.
You're killing me
I've
right now,
I've
dude.
got all into like the fact that this.
It's the ketchup and mustard colors. That's what it's doing it.
That's what did, and the fact that the Hunt, yeah.
That's
Where'd the
fucking
Hunts
funny,
get their
dude.
money?
Well, Lamar Hunt, I can't quite remember how he got rich. But I mean, this is back.
I
from,
swear
like,
to
the
God,
50s
if
or
it's
60s.
ketchup,
It's definitely not ketchup. But Lamar Hunt, he was a pillar in the AFL way back in the day. Caused the merger, pretty much, was a big reason why it happened. Named the Super Bowl. He was the one that came up with the name Super Bowl.
he did.
But
I know that.
anyway, the Roonies, yeah, they don't have. And then, so yeah, Heinz Field, Acrisure. You got me. That's good, man.
That goes to show you how much I care about the Chiefs.
So-
I literally thought that they were owned by the people who made Hunt's ketchup, and that was the reason they drafted Mahomes, is because he puts ketchup on his steak like a fucking psychopath.
I tell that's
It all makes sense,
yeah,
really.
I don't
I
know.
think that's what actually is the
That's the real
conspiracy
reason.
theory.
Yep. Well, he's getting his own steakhouse with Travis Kelce, and I think it's mandatory to put ketchup on your steak at the steakhouse.
That is
No,
blasphemous.
I'm just kidding. No way.
What wasn't it like
All right.
1587 Steakhouse or something like that?
Yeah, 15. It's a pretty good name for it. 15
is.
It just rolls off the tongue.
I guess.
Well, yeah, so it didn't pass. Arrowhead has a lease, or the Chiefs have a lease at Arrowhead in Johnson County till 2031. So this doesn't really mean much for me. I didn't want the Royals in downtown anyway because we live here in Denver, where, of course, you had a good reason for it today, where it did totally transform Denver.
Yeah.
After it was 1993, the Rockies came here.
Well, they were playing in Mile High then.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Was it 98 was the beginning of Coors Field? But yeah,
Coors Field's cool. I mean, you can go downtown, have a good time, and then you walk to the stadium or something. It's cool and all, but
95.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the first year of Coors Field. But back then, I mean, it's like I was telling you, that section of town where Coors Field was basically like Rhino, but even further down. Like it was literally all train tracks and like industrial stuff and crackheads and like all, what a lot of Denver is now. But that it did transform what Denver was and made it kind of like, oh shit, like I guess maybe Denver is a city I want to go to. And then you look at Coors Field, still to this day is one of the top, I want to say, 10 stadiums in the MLB.
Yeah, it is really cool. Yeah,
And
I enjoy it.
dude, they sell out all the time.
It's
the
nuts,
team
yeah.
is a joke, and they sell out.
It's
So
because, I mean, dude, we've gone there almost the past 2 years because her work pays, like, it's like a 1 year thing where they pay for all the tickets, all their employees go, they cater food down underneath the rock pile. I can't remember the section that it's at, but it's like a private event section.
yeah,
And it's cool, but we never watch the game. I mean, I do, but she never watches the game. They don't give a shit. You're just there. It's almost like a venue to have a good time at.
yeah. Well, that's the thing. They're selling you the experience.
Exactly.
The team is secondary.
And that's why McGregor Square opened up that,
Yeah.
I kept delivering glass to whenever I worked
Yeah.
at Metro. But it was nuts. Like that, the owner specifically wanted an area to watch the game without having to get all messy with the other, like, lowlifes with the fans.
Well, but I mean, you saw the watch parties when the Nuggets were going through everything, when
Yeah.
the Avs were going
That
through
was
everything.
awesome.
Dude, there's 15,000 people out there,
Yeah, it was
and
cool.
they were all having a good time.
Yep.
But that was the one thing where I could see just like why that the Royals would want to go downtown, why they would want to build like a sports district, because that's what look at what Kroenke did in LA with the Rams Stadium. It's like a whole metropolitan area, but that kind of goes against what you're saying about putting it downtown, unless you can get that big of a footprint.
And the problem is whenever I did my research into this, I found out that there was like dozens of businesses that were going to get displaced because of this, and they didn't have any plans for it.
Well,
They
no.
just, you're not going to be like, oh, well, I'm sure you'll go find a place or anything like that. That's a business that's been
Yeah.
there for, years. You can't just uproot them. So I'm glad it didn't pass. This isn't bad news for me at all. And I know that because of what Mahomes has kind of built there and changed that whole franchise around, there's no way they're going to leave at least the KC area. There is talks that there's a possibility they might go to the Kansas side.
Yeah.
That'd be great. I mean, whatever's clever, just stay in that area.
Definitely. All right, let's move to one thing real quick here, and it's some bad news
Hit
for
it,
the
dude.
Chiefs. And I don't get to play this much, or get to play it that much, but here it is. Rashee Rice wins the Super Bowl, and he had to go and get in trouble.
Yeah.
The off season's always a terrible time for
And you're
NFL
always-
players.
I feel like the first to text me about it when a Chiefs player gets in trouble.
Yeah, I saw it right away, and I was like, "Oh shit!"
I was trying to enjoy my vacation, and of course can't.
Yeah, Chad's like, I'm trying to abstain from sports, and like right away.
Right away.
Rashee Rice, oh no!
But dude, it is going on probably 6 or 7 years now that there has not been a Chiefs offseason without a Chiefs player getting in trouble with the law somehow or another.
Yeah.
Whether it's Tyreek Hill, maybe breaking his kid's arm, fucking Charles Omenihu, and then Willie Gay breaking a vacuum cleaner. I mean, dude, nobody can behave. I don't know what's going on. But news came out, I think it was Saturday night, Rashee Rice had rented a Corvette, and it was under his name, but had his friend driving in a drag race in Dallas,
Yeah.
got in a wreck, caused a 6-car pileup. So from what I hear, there's no serious injuries from it. I think, there's little bumps and bruises or anything, but still really bad.
Yeah,
And highway cam footage shows him exiting the vehicle on the passenger side. It took 2 days, but he was being sought out after by the police. A little scared, I think.
yeah. Well, you got to go and hire the best lawyer that you can in order to make things like this go away.
Yeah.
But you're right. He wasn't driving, but both cars are. Well, the Lamborghini was rented to him, and then the Corvette is his car. So it sounds like he may be in a little bit of trouble, but I think these guys are. He's what, 22? How old is he?
Oh, maybe 21, 22.
I mean, I did stupid shit all the way until I was 30.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Me and Samir and my buddy Alex Beal, who we've had on here before, we were discussing it. Beal was asking, how many games do you think he's going to get?
Yeah.
Samir had
2.
That was my guess.
It's going to be 4.
Samir said 12. I said, dude, he did not.
Did he kill somebody?
He did not sexually assault 50 women like Deshaun Watson.
Yeah,
Wait,
got a
Deshaun got
year,
11,
dude.
right? And Deshaun got 11. Yeah, this is nowhere
27 women
near that. He nobody was killed. It wasn't anything like the Henry Ruggs situation. I mean, it involved cars. That's like the only similar situation.
I think a couple people were taken to the hospital with somewhat serious injuries. I saw, but yeah, he didn't kill anybody
because he's not driving. That's the big thing.
Yeah.
He is liable because the car's under his name. But when the NFLPA, those guys who have argued for players who have done way worse and only get 4 games, 2 games max. I think he even appeals and might get 1 game.
Yeah.
I'm not condoning anything he did. It was stupid.
No, what he did was dumb, and I'm not going to say that what he did was okay. But again, the dude's a fucking he's not even 25 years old, dude. Yep. You're gonna do stupid shit, and especially if you're hanging around with friends and they're doing stupid shit, you're gonna get caught up in stupid shit.
Got to get better.
I don't blame him for it, but we need to move on.
Yep.
Needless to say, I'm glad everybody was safe. It sucks, but hopefully he learns his lesson and he will, lock it up later on.
Maybe next year we could get through an off season without somebody getting arrested.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
Let's move into the NBA.
Take it roll! Take it roll! Outlet! Outlet! Rain dance!
Sandy, come on. Sandy!
T, time out. I'm burning. I need to burn.
All right.
Yes. We had probably what I would like to consider the present and future of big men face off last night as the Joker and Mr. Victor Wembanyama, a.k.a. Wemby, faced off for the final time of this year in what was a pretty incredible matchup, which we all thought was going to be a blowout, but thanks to Wemby damn near getting a quadruple double, Jokic had to go out and kind of show him what was up, which was surprising.
Yeah, it was great because, it was a great battle back and forth. I think Wemby had 4 or 5 blocks on Jokic. One of them, and a couple of them were just like embarrassing. Jokic is so used to putting up an easy layup over guys, but Wemby just threw it down.
Yeah, and it was so much so that he was thinking about it that in the first quarter, I believe Jokic had 3 dunks, which Jokic maybe has 1 a game if he's lucky. And it's about the weakest dunk you've ever seen. He maybe gets that high off the ground.
Barely. It's not even like a demonstrative dunk. It's just, okay, I hit the rim. That's it.
Yeah, for sure. But Jokic goes for 42 points and outduels what is... I don't see how he can't be Rookie of the Year at this point with the run he's gone on over the last month. But on top of the 42 points, Jokic also grabbed 16 rebounds and had 6 assists. Wembanyama, though, had 23 points, 15 rebounds, 8 assists, and 9 blocks, which I believe you were close. I think it was 6 of those were on Jokic.
Oh, wow. God damn.
But, the way Wemby affects the game is just insane because it's not crazy, just like you have to think about how you're going to shoot the basketball if he's anywhere near you, because if 7'5" is in front of you, I hate to say it, that's not a normal shot anymore.
Here's a good example. How many times have we seen Aaron Gordon guard somebody and it's, he could be guarding Kevin Durant, he could be guarding Jason Tatum, and I'm never worried about it. Last night, when he had to guard Wemby, I'm just like, oh, God, please miss it. Just please miss it. Because there's nothing Aaron Gordon can do.
Yeah, and Aaron Gordon's 6'8", and he looked tiny.
Yeah, he did.
It was
just
dude,
so small,
whoa.
too. And Wemby was able just to do whatever he wanted, really.
Yeah, and I text Chad last night. I was like, we are definitely seeing, he's going to have some stat lines that will never, ever be done again, I think.
Well, we didn't even mention it, but I think it was last... Friday, Saturday, it was almost 4 or 5 days ago. He had a game against the New York Knicks where he outshined a 60-point game. Jalen Brunson put up, I think, 61 or 62, and then Wemby put up 40 and I think 20 or something like that. I think maybe he had 18 rebounds, but the best game of the year so far. And then he did it on a night where Jalen Brunson scored 62.
Yeah.
And the Spurs won that game. So, I mean, he's really getting better and better. It's just he's living up to the hype.
Well, and that's what's scary. This is his, what's it going to be in 4 years?
Yeah.
Like, Jokic looked like the first 2 years with Jokic, you knew something was there. But nobody knew what he was going to turn into. But this guy, you see right away, it's like, this has not been done before.
And you know what I haven't even thought about? They're going to have a lottery pick.
Yeah.
They're going to have another top draft pick coming in.
And they have one of the best coaches possibly. Top 3, top 5 for sure.
One of the longest
Popovich.
tenured coaches.
Yeah.
I think he is the longest tenured coach. No, Spoelstra is. Excuse me. Yeah, it's definitely Spoelstra. I can't believe it, man. Last night was super entertaining. I'm just glad the Nuggets were able to pull it out.
So I just want to throw this out, though. The last time a quadruple-double happened, David Robinson in, I believe, 94.
I think there's only been 6 players to do it, right? Yeah, 6 in
And
all of NBA history.
You can mark this or whatever, but I think he'll have that many in a season before he's done. I think he will have multiple quadruple doubles.
Wow, yeah.
Because the way he can affect shots, the way if he could start getting his assists up,
yeah.
I mean, dude,
and he
is.
Yep.
It's crazy. It's going to be crazy.
9 blocks. He did it earlier this year, but it sucked that it was against us. But
Yeah,
God
I think
damn,
David
dude.
Robinson, it was like 30-some points, 10, 10, 10, and 10. 10
wow.
rebounds,
Nice.
10 blocks, and 10 assists.
I could see Wemby having a 20-20, like
That's
a
what I'm saying.
20-20 and 10 assists and then 10 blocks or
Yeah,
something. You know?
it's going to be nuts.
Jesus. All right,
So,
let's keep going, though.
That was definitely fun to watch. Embiid returned.
Yep. And he helped
And
us out.
He definitely helped the Nuggets out as they beat the Oklahoma City Thunder last night. And
The Celtics are helping us out, too. The Thunder on a little bit of a slump in this road trip.
yeah. But Embiid in his return plays 29 minutes, gets 24 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists. Not a great game for Embiid, but he definitely came out and said that injury took a toll on him mentally. And I'm surprised he's back before the playoffs. But
I think it's a smart thing to do.
yeah, I agree. You want to kind of get him revved up
It's
into
like what we talked about with Murray.
Yeah. And Murray could be shut down for the rest of the season as far as we're going at this point. So,
But Embiid's got braids now. It's crazy.
did he? I didn't notice that.
Yeah, I
braids?
thought he cut his hair, and then when I was watching on my phone, then when I finally saw more highlights today, yeah, he's just got braids. I don't even recognize him.
I
with braids.
wouldn't recognize him with braids because I've
It's
always just seen
got
him with like the half-fro.
The big afro, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Other than that, big news came out today. Chauncey Billups and Jerry West are headed to the Hall of Fame. Really big for Denver. Park Hill, King, Chauncey Billups played high school here in Denver, then came back to play for the Denver Nuggets and took him to the Western Conference Finals, where he played with Carmelo and AI, and that was with AI when they went to the Western Conference Finals, right? Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, and they got beat out by the Lakers. But, yeah, I mean, Chauncey Billups gave the Nuggets a lot of good memories here, and just even what he did in high school. Beloved coach here. Beloved.
I mean, he's right now coaching the Blazers, and unfortunately, his job may be on the line with the way they're going.
They did beat the Hornets tonight.
Did beat the Hornets.
Barely.
Along with Chauncey, though, Vince Carter also being elected in the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame, which Vince Carter made the dunk contest pretty much what it is.
Oh, yeah.
Aside from, going back to Dominique and Jordan and stuff. But
yeah.
where was I going to go? Billups was named the Finals MVP in 2004 run in the 5-game victory over the Lakers, averaging 21 points, 5.2 assists, and a game to lead Detroit to an unlikely upset over a star-studded Los Angeles Lakers team led by Shaq and Kobe. What else did he do? I mean, there's been so much he did. His career went for so long, considering what happened when he came out and everybody wondering if he is actually going to be what people thought he was coming out of college, and to see him, not only go in to have a very long career in the NBA, but now be a coach. It's great to see. The Pistons reached the Eastern Conference in each of his 6 seasons in his first stint with Detroit. Then that's when he was traded back to Denver early in the 2008-2009 season. And that was, like Chad said, brought Allen Iverson. He played 3 seasons with the Nuggets and then played for the New York Knicks and LA Clippers. And that was when, Melo broke everything up, getting traded to the Knicks. That was when Chauncey ended up leaving. But yeah, I love Chauncey. He's one of those dudes who just was like the penultimate basketball player. Anytime he's on the court, you're like, that dude gets it.
Hell of a point guard, man.
But great to see him getting into the NBA Hall of Fame.
Amazing.
It's great.
Hats off to him. And I think that wraps it up for NBA. You want to move on to NHL?
Yeah, let's get into the NHL real quick. Where did I put it? Everything's new.
Heard a lot of that the other day when the Avs put up 7 goals.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, they also got their asses kicked by the Blue Jackets the other night. Unfortunately,
that was a bummer.
But let's get into the trophy tracker, as Kucherov and McKinnon now are tied in a tight race for the Art Ross Trophy. Nathan McKinnon now has 127 points with 7 games remaining, and Nikita Kucherov has 127 points as well with 8 games remaining. And Connor David is right behind them with 126 points with 9 games remaining. So I believe Kucherov is playing the Maple Leafs tonight.
I've got those pulled up.
Let's see how that goes. And then McKinnon is taking on the Wild tomorrow, which is a huge Western Conference rivalry in terms of the Wild and the Avs. So that game tomorrow night is going to be huge. And then McDavid is taking on the Dallas Stars tonight. And the Dallas Stars cannot lose for some reason, unfortunately, as the Avs are having a really hard time keeping up with them in the first position in the Central Division.
Yeah. A little more on Connor McDavid. I heard today he's 3 assists shy of 100 assists. Only 3 players to do so have done this. Wayne Gretzky, Bobby Orr, and Mario Lemieux. So pretty good company to be in.
Yeah, he's right up there with the best.
I think with only 8 games left or something like that, I think it's pretty likely that he'll get it.
Yeah, I agree. I think he should.
That's cool.
Let's get into the standings real quick. Yep. We'll go through the Eastern Conference. I'll start with them. The Boston Bruins have clinched. They are at 76 games played, 44 wins, 17 losses, 15 overtime losses for 103 points. And right behind them, the Florida Panthers have also clinched with 47 wins, 24 losses, 5 overtime losses for 99 points. And right behind them in third is the Toronto Maple Leafs. Moving into the Metropolitan Division, we have the New York Rangers, who have clinched 50 wins, 21 losses, 4 overtime losses for 104 points. Behind them, the Hurricanes have also clinched 47 wins, 21 losses, 101 points. Chad, take us to the Western Conference, where our Avs are sitting in second.
Yep, the Dallas Stars, like you just talked about, are just keep winning. They are on a 7-game win streak, and they have clinched the top spot in the Central Division at 47 wins, 19 losses, 103 points. The Avs are right behind them, who just clinched 47 wins, 22 losses, and 100 points. And then in the Pacific Division, the Vancouver Canucks.
The Canucks
have clinched at 46 wins, 21 losses, and 100 points. And then right behind them are the Oilers. 45 wins, 23 losses, and 95 points.
Yeah, and the Canucks, I think it was last week, looked like they were comfortably in the lead to get the President's Cup trophy, and now they have fallen back, and it is now in
the Rangers still at 104.
The Rangers and the Bruins are now fighting for the President's Cup, which, as we all know, is cursed. So don't win it, otherwise you'll get beat in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want the Avs to win the other night. It was a hell of a game against the Rangers, but just didn't turn out in their favor.
Yeah, definitely. So
right.
Let's get into F1 real quick. We just want to let you know what's going on in F1. this weekend, the Japanese Grand Prix, which is called the MSC Cruises Japanese Grand Prix at the Suzuka Raceway, will be taking place Saturday, April 6th at 11 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. It's a late one. Can you stay up for it?
Is it past? Yeah,
11 p.m.
Probably not.
No. We work early hours, long days.
I'm going to the
It's
Nuggets
tough.
game that Saturday. That's on Saturday night.
Oh, you're
I'll
going
probably,
to the Saturday?
Yeah, it's the Saturday game against the
Oh.
Hawks, so I'll probably still be amped up from that. I might be able to catch
you
it.
might be able to watch it.
Yep.
We will see if Max Verstappen can get back into his winning ways after his car decided to not let him win another race as it blew up and caught on fire last week.
Yeah.
So
I bet he's going to be making up for that.
he probably will because he loves winning.
He sure does.
That's all we have for F1. We're going to get into the MLB real quick. Chad, what do you have to talk about?
I figure we just, with the time right now, we'll just scrap the MLB.
Let's just scrap it.
Yep.
And let's get into the March of Madness.
I'm down. This is the meat of it.
Yes, indeed. Give me 1 second while I pull it up. Son of a bitch. Where did I put it? Oh my god. This is taking way too long.
Hit it. Hit it.
Basketball is a voluntary activity. It's not a requirement. Any of you feel you don't want to be on a team, feel free to leave right now. Did you hear what I said?
Me?
Yes, you.
Sure, I'm just curious to know when we start.
We start when I say so.
Okay, would you kind of let me know? Because I'm kind of getting
All
tired
right,
of standing.
out.
You kicking me out?
Good old Gene Hackman.
It kind of makes me a little nervous.
Yeah, you would for sure.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into the final four.
We will, because that last week we just kind of ran short on time with the Owl. He did a great job covering the draft, but we had to kind of trim a few things, so we trimmed the last couple rounds, and now we've gotten it down to the final four in the men's and women's brackets. And in the men's brackets, who have survived are the NC State. That's the Cinderella team, the 11-seeded NC State Wolves, I believe, is the Wolfpack. Yeah, the
Yep.
Wolfpack. And then UConn, of course, and then
Purdue. And Alabama. So
thank you.
UConn is taking on number 4 Alabama. That is Saturday at 6:49 p.m. for some reason. And then also on Saturday, right before that game, you will have number 11 NC State taking on number 1 Purdue. Now, when you go into the NC State game, this one, the line has moved. Well, no, I can't remember now what it was before we started, but right now the line is sitting at -8.5 for the Purdue Boilermakers, who have Zach Edey, the 7'4" phenom, who I believe is averaging over 30 points per game in the
had a 40 burger.
40 burger the other night.
Yep.
So right now, NC State is looking to be demolished by Purdue, according to Vegas, but they do have the big man,
DJ Burns.
DJ Burns.
We're going to get a little more into him in a second.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's going to be a tough matchup for Zach Edey, man. It's a tall, super powerful guy going up against a very thick, light on his foot, DJ Burns.
Yeah.
His left-handed, just like floater that he's got, that turnaround left-handed. Man,
Jokic was late to his press conference after the game the other night because he was watching DJ.
that was pretty cool. Did you
And-
see DJ's reaction?
Yeah, he's like, what?
Yeah, so the reporters asked Jokic about DJ Burns, who's the big phenom right now, and he is a big dude. He is a phenom. For being able to be that big and that athletic and good at basketball, it's fascinating. And so
Yeah.
a lot, and his passing, because he's so big, he draws a lot of attention. I've watched like 3 or 4 of his games this year, especially in the ACC tournament, and this guy jumps off the screen. And so when he draws all this attention, he's really good at passing and can find the open
Yep.
guy. And so reporters said, hey, you kind of remind us of Jokic. What do you think about that? And, well, first they asked Jokic, what do you think of DJ Burns? And he said, yeah, he's really good. I respect his game. Then so reporters told DJ Burns that, and he just lit up. He felt like, he was blushing a little bit, I think.
Well, of course, you have the best player in the world being
Yep.
like, yeah, sorry, I was watching this guy play. I wish I was left-handed, and all the stuff Jokic was saying. It's like that would have to be pretty cool to be like, oh man, the best player wants to be like me.
I was so glad they asked Jokic about it, because when I was watching that NC State game, I was like, damn, this guy reminds me a lot of Jokic. Not built like him, but his passing is really good. Speaking of that, did you see that 70-foot pass that he threw last night?
Jokic?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that dude just having fun.
That's just insane. He looked like a quarterback, dude.
Well, and you just saw him too. Not to totally digress back to the Nuggets, but watching him just bully Wemby was like
He
just getting that
powered into him a little bit. Yep.
Wemby's all the way to out of the fucking. He's out of bounds.
Go ahead. Yep.
But yeah, it was great to see. But yeah, DJ Burns is. I mean, wherever he goes, and we'll talk about where he may go a little bit later, because there's NFL teams sniffing around him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That is kind of interesting, because that's what I was going to say is, like, dude, the guy reminds me of defensive tackle.
No, they're saying offensive tackle because of his footwork.
Wow.
Yeah. So we'll see. But, that one should be an entertaining game. I hope it's a little bit more close than Vegas is saying. But let's talk about UConn and Alabama right now.
Let's do it.
UConn 11.5-point favorites. We talked about this with Ryan Kramer earlier. He's saying hit the points on them, I believe.
I meant to bring it up earlier when we were talking to Ryan. It's something
lay
where
the
I
points.
told you about the points are at 11.5, and you want to give some credit to Alabama. They're good and everything, but when I saw this quote from UConn's coach when he said, when a reporter asked him, why do you guys blow these teams out? He goes, because we suck at winning close games. I told the team, you better either win by a lot or we're not going to win. And it seems like that's the case.
Yeah. Well, how funny is it that both UConn teams and both the men and women's side are just so dominant?
And NC State.
Yeah.
This is the first time, I think, in tournament history we've had the men's and women's in one school, and also in the men's bracket and women's bracket, we have two of the same school. I've never seen it before.
Yeah. But I'm interested to see how it's going to work. I mean, the matchup predictor here on ESPN is basically 71.9% UConn. So everybody's thinking UConn's going to smoke them. I don't see why they won't.
I think it'd be great to have a Purdue versus UConn matchup. I think that would be awesome. That would be really good.
It's just so funny because this year's men's bracket, this year's men's tournament hasn't been that good.
No, there really hasn't been too many close games. I mean, I remember last year in the very first round, both Thursday and Friday, there were buzzer beaters, close games, miracle shots. We've had maybe one or two close games, I feel like, this whole time.
It's been a lot of blowouts, and it's been a lot of like what you would expect to have happen, and it just hasn't been nearly as fun as the women's bracket, which we're getting into now.
Yeah.
As South Carolina, number 1, is taking on, as Chad just said, NC State, number 3. And
it's kind of an in-state battle here too, man.
Again, Vegas has this one at 11.5. So
I would imagine so. You look at
in favor of the Gamecocks. Sorry.
Yeah. So South Carolina,
also great name,
undefeated this year. Don Staley's second year in a row, South Carolina has gone undefeated. Last year they lost in the Elite Eight to Iowa and Caitlin Clark, I believe. I'm just going to run through their tournament games this year. 91-39 against Presbyterian. Presbyterian, got to keep praying.
Son of a.
Then they go on to play 8-seeded North Carolina, beat them 88-41, beat them by 47 points. Then they go on a few days ago to play Indiana, and they were up, I think, like 15 or 20 points, and Indiana came back, and it ended up being 79-75. And Don Staley, I guess, ripped that team for letting Indiana come back. So they started getting a little comfortable. And then in the Elite Eight matchup, they go on to keep dominating 70-58 against Oregon State. So, yeah, NC State's got their hands full.
Yeah, and I think we're looking at a NC State, or I'm sorry, South Carolina and UConn matchup as we jump over to the other side. Well,
I don't know, man. Did you hear about what Caitlin Clark had to say about Gino and not getting recruited
No, she
by
was pissed
UConn?
about it.
Yeah, she was like, they never
called
visited me, never talked to me at all.
We-
But she said like she
Yeah.
respects them. It's not any kind of bad blood, but you know people like that have that Michael Jordan gene, which she clearly does.
Yeah.
I know you're going to hate this, but I had to just throw this in there. I loved that people were, after that game where she put up 40 points the other day against LSU, people were tweeting out, she's Mahomesing LSU.
That's the dumbest thing you've ever said.
I loved it.
I'm
dude.
going to let it slide. Let it slide.
You know, that's what he does.
I mean,
He's clutch. He's
when,
clutch.
When the tournament started, I did say, I hope Caitlin Clark pulls it off. I
Yep.
do think if there is a year to do it, this is it. But she's also going up against a team that's just as equally as good as her, but I think they are more of a complete team. I think Iowa relies very heavily on Caitlin Clark, and if you can find a way, which I don't know if they can, if you can find a way to stop what is maybe the greatest Division I basketball player of all time, the rest of the team I don't think has enough to beat you. But you got to stop her from getting 41.
Yeah. That's the thing is you could, like Kim Mulkey said, is you could, I finally said her name right. I've been practicing.
Good job. Proud of
She
you.
said, you know, there's just nothing you can do. You can't
No.
guard. I mean, when she's shooting threes 3 foot behind the 3-point line, you can't guard that.
Well, it's just like we were talking about earlier, the quintessential shot of that game last week where they had the most viewers, I think, of pretty much everything other than the NFL.
Yeah, we're going to get into the viewers here in a second. Yeah.
But where was I going with that? Fuck. Shit.
Well, keep thinking of it, but I kind of beg to differ when you talk about UConn having a little bit more of a complete team. They've suffered some bad luck over the last 3 years. So the first year, Paige Beckers as a freshman comes through, and she just lights the whole – this is the first year Caitlin Clark comes on the scene as well. And she outshines Caitlin Clark. Both of them had great years. And then Paige Beckers wins National Player of the Year as a freshman. Unfortunately, the rest of her team was really injured that year. Next year – in preseason, I think it was, Paige Beckers tears your ACL.
Yeah.
She recovers. Last year, it was an injury-riddled team, couldn't really do a whole lot. This year, she's back, she's healthy, and then again, the rest of the team, a lot of the starters have injuries. So they're trying to fight through that.
Yeah.
But, and to argue UConn's side, they just played Juju Watkins and number 1 seeded USC and knocked them off. What did they do? They blitzed Juju Watkins. They did not let her get an open shot, even though she had a great game. I think she had 24 points or so. But that's what they do. They blitz your best player. So I think that there's a chance they could do that to Iowa and shut her down. But when you got someone like Caitlin Clark, and
it's hers to lose at this point. But I'll tell you this much. Vegas is thinking it's going to be very close because out of all of the Final Four games, this has the closest plus minus at -2.5 in favor of Iowa.
Yep.
So they're obviously thinking it's going to be a close game. I think this game will blow away what that last game had in terms of viewership. I think it might even get into the 13 millions because
it's going to be close.
Iowa LSU had 12.3 million viewers watching it, which we have it here is more than. Do you have it pulled up, Chad?
Yep.
Rip it off.
So that game, LSU and Iowa, Monday night, epic game. And let me go back to like what I was talking about the Airbnb. I told you, and I told Hannah going down there, I said, this is a vacation for us. She knows I consume a lot of sports and it gets annoying. So I said, I'm going to take a break. But that was the one exception. We're sitting there playing cards on Monday night.
At least it's women's
and
basketball. You got that
exactly.
going.
Got to support the ladies. And it's
You're
it's
an
not even
advocate.
about being an advocate anymore. It's like if you don't fucking appreciate what's going on, then you're just not. I don't think you understand the game of basketball.
Yeah.
I think that's just it. Or just a hater. And most times that's probably the case. You're just a hater. So that game drew 12.3 million viewers, LSU and Iowa. That is more viewers than every women's college basketball game ever. That's every ESPN college basketball game ever, men's or women's. This one's hilarious. Every MLB game last season.
That's not surprising.
Postseason or not. Every NHL game last season. Every MLS game last season. Every NBA game last season except for one. And then every college football regular season game last season except for one.
Ohio State versus Michigan.
Probably so. Yeah.
That's what it is. It's also the more than any women's college basketball game ever, more than the 2023 NBA Finals, more than the 2023 World Series, more than the 2023 Orange Bowl, the 2023 Big Ten Championship, the Cotton Bowl, the Pac-12 Championship, the Big 12 Championship, the ACC Championship, the Peach Bowl, Thursday Night Football.
Wow.
We beat Thursday Night Football.
I
didn't think they'd even compete with the NFL.
Yeah, that says a lot right there.
The only thing I want to say, and this will be my last remark on it, is that it is very sad that this is the most impact these girls will have. Because you've seen it happen with these women who had huge college basketball careers. They go to the WNBA, and they're making less money than they are now.
It's a shame.
Caitlin Clark will make less money as a number 1 overall draft pick in the WNBA than she did on her NIL
college
deal.
Yeah.
Which is just sad.
Yeah, Ice Cube, everybody knows about it. Ice Cube offered her
15?
5.
Oh, was it 5?
I think it was $5 million for just to play 10 games in the Big 3. The basketball league
which
that he's
is
got.
Exponentially more than she'd make in the WNBA. I think the highest paid WNBA players are only making a couple $100,000.
Wow. That's nuts. I hope this turns around because this is what's great is I hope this translates to more people watching the WNBA because, the WNBA is in a great place right now. They have so many stars. And what I really wanted to hit on is don't think that this is just the peak. When Caitlin Clark's already going to the WNBA, it was announced today that Angel Reese is declared for the WNBA.
Yep.
This is not just a fad. This is not a trend that's just going to fade away, even though Caitlin Clark is once in a lifetime, that's for sure.
Yep.
Paige Beckers is coming back next year for UConn. Juju Watkins is a freshman. Mm-hmm. And then you got Dawn Staley in South Carolina. That's just a franchise, or like a dynasty almost, with undefeated seasons constantly. So just expect this hype and this craze just to continue.
We'll move on after this to get into the DDOE, but the 3 highest salaries in the WNBA are all the same. $241,000 or $241,984,000. Arike Ogbunwale, Kalia Copper, and Jewel Floyd are the highest paid WNBA players.
Yeah, and it's a shame. I'm not really sure who they are.
Yeah, and that is a shame. And I do hope that these girls can put this into the next phase because that's what's happening. And I do feel bad about it because here they are making all this money for these college teams, and then they go and basically kind of just fade out into obscurity in the WNBA, which is a bummer.
Yeah, it is a bummer.
I hope that these girls can spur the WNBA into becoming something that's worth watching, and that's something that that's something that we as a sports podcast can probably do better of is including the WNBA, but it's tough.
Well, that's why we're going to have guys on like Mr. Ruff.
C. Ruff
from Time Out Sports Podcast. He covers the WNBA a lot. We have our own fortes, but guys like Ryan Kramer, the Owl, and C. Ruff, that's why we hit up these other guys.
These guys
they have their own wheelhouses.
And we're hoping to get some ladies soon. So you won't just be hearing dudes talking about sports. But it is time to get into the daily dose of excellence. And each and every week, Mr. John Daly hits it hard, man.
I hit it hard, man. So far, man. No laying up, no holding back. Ain't afraid of nothing, it's a natural fact. I hit it long, man. Till it's gone, man. Keep taking chances, living large. I hit it hard.
That's right. It's time to grip it, rip it, and make sure that you sip it. As we are rolling right into the DDOE, it is the final segment of French Fanatic Sports Podcast. Each and every week, we bring you some sort of amazing sports, whatever. It doesn't even have to be sports, technically. Just some amazing feats that people go above and beyond to show you that the human spirit is infallible.
Well put, Chris. Well put, dude. I love that, man.
I read a thesaurus on the way over.
You did good, man.
But
brushing up on your Stein.
I'll let Chad take this one because I talk a lot.
Oh, it's all good, man. This one here I really wanted to take because this guy is entertaining. We were just talking about him, but we chose him for the Daily Dose of Excellence because of what he represents. I think John Daly would proudly approve of this one. DJ Burns, the center, the guy that's the next Jokic for NC State, the Cinderella 11-seeded NC State Wolfpack. He is the Daily Dose of Excellence. So this comes from USA Today, to give them a little credit. Please don't sue us.
They will.
From Dwight, his father, whenever you tell him he can't do something, he's going to prove you wrong. DJ was told more than a few times about the things he couldn't do. Just take a look at him, 6'9", well over 300 pounds, stuffed into a basketball jersey. It's a weird way to put that.
That's what it looks like.
It does, kind of, yeah. Stuffed into a basketball jersey that often makes him look like he's playing the wrong sport. So I was saying, he looks like a D tackle.
Yeah.
Even his parents at times wondered whether all the things he dreamed about during those Sunday talks were going to materialize. There were transfers from Tennessee to Winthrop to NC State. There was the weight he gained during COVID. We all know what that's like.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
That he couldn't quite shake off. There was a basketball season going down the drain and a college career that was seemingly at the end without having fulfilled its potential. DJ was always like, "Mama, don't worry, I got it," DJ Burns would say, or Dwight Burns said. He always believed in himself. He always bet on DJ, so this is the result. And just after last week, they won the Elite Eight to make it to the Final Four. And, man, this dude, I was telling Chris just a second ago, and maybe I said it on air, I forget shit like that. But, dude, this guy's left-handed, and he has this turnaround left-handed, like, hook, just soft little floater. It's insane that this guy of this size has such a soft touch. I mean, it is like Joel Embiid, but I think this guy DJ is a lot more likable.
Yeah, that's probably true. And like we mentioned earlier, Jokic came out and sang his praises. I don't know if he's going to make it in the NBA. We'll see. I hope to see him somewhere professionally. And like we mentioned earlier, we kind of teased it. There are NFL teams sniffing around him that they're saying after this game this week to come, and they were talking about even paying him to come and try out.
Wow.
So there's a lot of people that think the way his footwork is, which, you know, these centers and stuff, to be down in the paint like that, you got to have good footwork. And that's one thing even Jokic is, you know, underrated in his footwork. The guy's insanely
It may not be able to
skilled.
jump very high, but, you know, as long as you can shuffle
Can't
those
jump
feet.
over a curb, but damn it, he will eat you up in the paint.
Yeah. And, I mean, that's what this guy DJ Burns does, man. We were, I think, at State House watching this NC State game, and I just could not believe it. I mean, he just looks fierce.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
I would not want to play against him.
It's like Shaq down there, where it's
It
just
is.
like, Jesus,
Yeah,
how do you
go ahead.
stop him?
Go ahead. Get your points. I'll get you next time. I'm going to guard somebody else. That's what I'd be thinking.
We've got breaking news. Alex is eating the gummy bear right now. We will have a video soon.
Oh, is he sending you the video?
Yeah, I just got a picture. He's got a milk. He's got his setup.
Oh my God, dude! He's even got the UFC 300 Prime drink.
Yeah, he's got.
God.
I don't know if I can show you guys this. Look at his setup for this. He's
So,
got milk.
To clue our listeners in, the fantasy football podcast or fantasy football league that our inaugural year last year, we agreed as all the team members that the punishment would have to eat something very hot. Mm-hmm. And Chris got his nephew a gummy bear.
Yeah, it's the
Hottest gummy bear in the world.
Lil Nitro, the world's hottest gummy bear. Apparently, it is 9 million in the Scoville rating.
Oh my God, dude!
Which
I am
is
kind of worried about
I think
him.
900 times hotter than a jalapeno.
Yeah.
So he's not very happy. And he says 10 chews is about all I'm giving it.
Jeez. I just can't wait to see the video. So we will be posting this video soon.
Yeah. So great. We'll have some good content. And Alex, thank you.
Yes, thank you
From the bottom of our hearts for sticking to it, man.
Football season ended about 3 months ago, but I do appreciate you coming through and doing this. And hey, this will teach you to be a little better at fantasy football.
Yeah, don't give up.
Yep.
But thank you, and we are at the end of the episode. It is time. Cheers to you, Chad.
Cheers to you, and cheers to DJ Burns. Good luck in the Final Four.
Yeah, let's hope you guys can pull off amazing upsets.
I hope so.
Cheers, Chad. Love you, buddy. Woo! We love each and every one of you.
Ugh.
Come back next week. We will be back on Tuesday live streaming. We will see you then. Love you guys. Toodles.